In this video, I will discuss the multiplication and division properties of inequality. Basically, what this tells us is that if you multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by the same positive number, you produce an equivalent inequality. The other thing to add on to this that is different from if you're adding or subtracting or if you're solving equations is we have to be careful if we multiply or divide by a negative number, because what happens when we do that is we actually have to flip the inequality symbol, and I'm going to show you that in a few examples. This first example, a over 4 is less than 10. We want to isolate the variable whenever we're solving an inequality, and to do this we have to get a by itself. Since we're dividing a by 4, the opposite of dividing is multiplying, so we're going to multiply both sides by positive 4. Notice this is just a positive number. We're not dealing with any negatives, so we can go ahead and just do this without any extra steps. On the left-hand side, our two 4's are going to cancel out, leaving us with just a. The symbol stays the same, so it's going to be less than, and then 10 times 4 gets us a positive 40. If we wanted to go ahead and graph that, I can sketch out a real quick number line here. And then since we just have a less than symbol, we're going to keep an open dot at 40. If it was less than or equal to, we would have a closed dot there. And everything smaller than 40 is going to be everything to the left of 40. So we're going to go ahead and shade to the left. This next example looks very similar to the one we just did. We have w divided by negative 5 is less than or equal to 16. Now, if we want to isolate the variable w, we have to multiply both sides by negative 5. And this is where that extra step comes in. If you multiply both sides of your inequality by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality symbol. So it always helps if right away you know you're multiplying by a negative number, you just go ahead and flip it right away. That way you don't forget. Simplifying the left-hand side, we can cancel out our negative 5's. We're just left with w. And then 16 times negative 5 is going to get us negative 80. So w is greater than or equal to negative 80. And again, if we wanted to sketch that out, we could do negative 100, negative 80, and negative 60. And then since it's greater than or equal to, we're going to have a closed dot here, meaning we're including negative 80 in the solution. And then we're going to shade everything bigger than 80, so everything to the right of negative 80. Our next example, for x is less than 8. To isolate the variable x, notice the 4 and x are being multiplied. So to undo multiplication, we want to go ahead and do some division. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. It's just a positive 4, so we don't have to worry about flipping our inequality symbol here. And then we can do 4 divided by 4 gets us just a 1, so we're going to be left with x on the left-hand side because these guys cancel out. And then 8 divided by 4 gets us 2. And if we went ahead and graphed this, we could have 0, 1, and 2. X is less than 2. The less than symbol means we just have an open dot. And then we're going to shade everything smaller than positive 2. And that's what our graph's going to look like. In this example here, notice we're trying to isolate the variable z. To do that, we have to divide both sides by negative 2. Because we're dividing by a negative number, we want to flip the inequality symbol. So again, I suggest doing that first so that you don't forget to do that. We can then go ahead and simplify. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 is positive 5. Negative 2z divided by negative 2 just becomes z, because those negative 2's will cancel out when you divide them. If we want to rewrite the inequality, we can flip the variable and the number, and then notice our inequality symbol was opening towards z, so we want to make sure that it's still opening towards z when we rewrite it. It helps to rewrite it with the variable on the left so that it's a little bit easier to go ahead and graph it. When we graph the inequality, I'm going to just sketch out a real quick number line here. 5 is about right here, and we're going to have a closed dot since it's greater than or equal to, so we fill in our dot at 5. And then it's everything bigger than 5, so we're going to shade it to the right. And that is all I have for you dealing with our multiplication and division properties of inequality. Just remember, anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number when you're dealing with inequalities, don't forget to flip the sign.